Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. Hello everybody, and thank you for dropping by. Welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Jason. My pronouns are he and him. Today is February 23rd, 2026. It is volume 1, episode 25. So this is going to be my last episode of this year. So then I'm going to start a new volume at the beginning of March. So it has been an entire year of me filming Flosstube, and it has flown by. And I can't believe I'm at this point. It has just been a crazy, wild journey. It feels like I did 1, which was a lot, and then 2, and then I made it up to 5. I was like, oh my goodness, I made it to 5. And then everything else in between just flew by. And here we are. So that I'm so excited to be here. I have found the greatest community and made some really, really great friends. And I am just so excited for everything that's going to happen in the next year, and just so blessed with everything that has happened this past year. So anyway, here we are. I'm not going to go into too many of the details, but the last month, yeah, pretty much February, life's been pretty crazy. So I do want to apologize to anybody that has sent me messages or emails or left comments on videos. I have been really bad at getting back to people. I've just been either on, and then when I have a moment, I am off. I am disconnected. Things are a little bit crazy at work. So yeah, I just found out last week that our funding was cut significantly. So there's been some scrambling going to that. And there was a lot of ruckus going on before that, but the funding cuts were like a surprise. And so wasn't prepared for that. So that completely shifted everything. So it has been a little busy. And then just with family stuff, there's been some health issues in my family. And so I've been dealing with that. And then just the world in general. I just have been avoiding a lot of social media. I haven't been watching much Flosstube at all, and so I really don't know what's going on in the world. Occasionally I'll go and check to see what's coming out of Nashville, but for the most part I haven't really been that connected to much of anything or really paying attention to what's going on. So I'm trying to get back into the routine slowly, and I have never been really good at habits. I think that's part of the ADHD. The habits are hard, really hard to develop and hard to keep. And even if you get into a habit, if you break it once, then it just completely collapses. So over the past, 6 months or so, I have been trying to avoid looking at consistency, and I'm looking at persistency. And so I'm really trying to focus on that. So instead of just always going without any mistakes, I'm really looking at just whenever I do have a slip up, just get up and go back and just keep on starting again, which is kind of challenging for me. But anyway, so that's how I'm really trying to do things, and I think it is giving me a better approach on where I am mentally and everything like that. So I'm going to try to get back into the routine, a little more consistency, get on a little more persistency. So I'm going to start tackling those messages, get back caught up again, and then we'll go from there. Thank you everybody for your patience. I know everybody goes through those crazy times, and I don't like to keep people hanging out there, but I do thank you for everybody who's reached out and sent messages and really cheering me on and everything. I will get back to you. The other exciting thing that happened this week, and I think I've mentioned several times, is that my birthday's coming up, and it's a big birthday. But I got something in the mail, and I'm kind of excited. I got my notice from AARP. I know some people would dread that, but I am looking forward to my discounts, and I don't think I feel my age at all. And so I'm really not dreading it. I'm a firm believer that age is just a number, and you're only as old as you want yourself to feel. That's your body may agree with you or disagree with you sometimes, but I'm excited to get that. We don't have many alternatives besides celebrating life, and so might as well do it, right? Because there's only one other alternative to that. Well, I guess we could not celebrate life and just, I guess, drudge through, but that's no fun. So I don't want to do that. So we're just going to celebrate and go with it from there. I told you in my last video that this video would be a whip parade. It's not going to be a whip parade because I was thinking that by the time I got around to filming it, I would have had a lot of progress done on my whips, and then I wouldn't be able to talk about progress updates. I know some people just like whip parades for whip parades. They want to just see the list of they want to see the catalog, where other people are interested in the updates. And so I'm going to be filming a whip parade this week as well. I think it's going to really help me like process a lot of stuff and just see where I am. I'm overly ambitious and I never get to half of what I say I'm going to do. But anyway, I'm having fun. So this year I decided I'm going to start giving myself ratings for my fortnightly goals. So when I film this video, I'll tell you what I'm be doing the next 2 weeks, and then when I come back, I'll give myself a grade. Consistently so far, everything that I say that I'm going to do, they don't all come back. So it's actually, there's quite a few that don't come back. But I do want to clarify before I get started that when you see a project and you see its rating, it is my ability to have actually done stitching in the past fortnight, and not any kind of rating when it comes to the pattern itself or the floss or fabric or anything else that's going on with that. It's just me sitting down and accomplishing my goals. So I am actually having a lot of fun with this. This has been my first little strategy that I have done when it comes to goals and performance and everything. I think it's because it's visual and it's fun. I get to see it and like flip through things. So yeah, I hope that I hope it's entertaining for you, because when you look at some of my numbers, I never meet my goals, and I get so many comments from people saying, "Jason, don't be so hard on yourself," and I do. I'm not taking this too seriously. If I miss a goal, it's okay. It just keeps me moving forward, and it's a little bit of a push, but I am not competitive at all. So if I don't meet something, it's like whatever. I have a major life goal that I was said that I was going to do by the time I was 40. It's still in the works, but it's not going to happen by the time I'm 50 for sure. So hopefully it'll happen in the next couple of years or so. But no, I am not that competitive. So this is just for fun. And it really helps me understand more about myself and how I am actually processing things, how I approach things. And I'm actually learning. I feel like I'm actually going through the process helps me learn a little bit more about what I enjoy when I am stitching, what I don't enjoy. And so I think it really is going to help me narrow a few things down. Okay, for fortnight number 4 of the year, I'm going to give myself a C-. It was a crazy week. I didn't get a lot done. Or it was crazy 2 weeks and I didn't get a lot done. I sometimes struggle to just actually sit down and stitch, and then when I did, I just was unfocused and whatever. So anyway, stitching really helps me like get in a good headspace, but I have to get over a little hurdle to get there first sometimes, and then I get easily distracted. But anyway, I have a total of 28 works in progress, so those numbers haven't changed. I've had half of them in my rotation this time, so that was 14 that are in my rotation. I have a good chunk. I can't even remember the number. 9 that are there consistently. Yeah, and then whatever's over, comes in through the rotation. So this week I was supposed to work on 14. I only worked on 10, but I'm going to show you 11 today. I think it's 11. I don't know. Sometimes I lose. I'm not a good counter, but I have a project that I didn't show you last time that I was supposed to work on this time, but I didn't work on this time. But I'm going to show you anyway, just because it has changed since you've seen it last, but I forgot to show you last time because I didn't think I worked on it, but I actually did. So if that's not completely confusing, let's just jump into the whips. The first one up is the little cute Octopus by Catkin and Lily. This is on a 36 count mystery even weave. I started at the beginning of the year because I wanted to incorporate more smalls into the rotation. I also had really ambitious goals to get one done a month, and here we are at the end of February, and it's still not done. I didn't work on him in the past 2 weeks, but I did work on him before, and so here's that little guy. Okay, so this was a scrap piece of linen, so it does have some other things on it from along the way, but I did get his little arm in, or a tentacle in. So that was the accomplishment I got in that I completely forgot about. He is so cute. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to get 2 legs in every rotation. So essentially 1 leg a week until he's done. So I'm looking for probably March or April to get close to finish. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should just try to finish him up. The small is a special little category that I have when I am planning, and he can come out anytime, so they'll always stay about. I just haven't been very good. So I love the pattern. I have been doing the variegated floss and trying to make him splotchy, so I've been doing these rotational things. And I tell you, when you're in those arms and you're trying to do a rotation, so you pick one stitch and then you go around it 3 times in a certain pattern, so you try to make a circle. That is, wow, that really gets the space planning in my head, and I have to think a lot. So for me to sit down and put a thread in him is a lot of brain power. When he's done, I'll probably make him into an ornament. I think that's kind of what I think I want to do, is just make him into an ornament. I don't think he'll be Christmas. I think he'll just be a little guy that can hang out, other times during the year. Wonderful World is up next. This is my focus piece. That means I'm really trying to push this to get this one done. And it's also my morning stitch. I have just not been able to sit down and focus on this one. It's anytime that I am pick it up to do it. Well, one is I haven't been stitching in the mornings hardly at all. I literally am just getting up and trying to keep the world from collapsing around me for right now. So I haven't got to this one much, and then in the evenings it's a little it's a 40 count, so it's been a little rough on the eyes, I guess. So it's harder in the evenings to do this one. This is some Snowflower Diaries. I am still going to try to get this one done in February. It's going to be a really hard push. I have 5 days left. I am hoping for a finish here soon. But this time around, I only gave myself 1 star because I did not do very well. Super cute though. Okay, so since last time, what did we see last time? So I think I got a little bit of this flower in, maybe that leaf up there. And then I started to extend this out here. So that's really all I got. So the top is right here. So it's just this border will repeat up here. Did I finish this border? Doesn't look like it because that's a little longer. No, I think I have a little bit over here and then just fill in this side up here. And then the words, I'm actually saving the words for last. Well, I don't know if I will or not. I don't really do words that often, so I kind of hesitant to start, but we will see where that goes. It's a really small pattern. I think it's just shy of 3,000, and I'm over halfway. So I'm just going to really give a push to get this in. I think actually I think I'm about 60% if I remember correctly. So just a final little push to get that done, and yeah, we'll see. So hopefully next time you see this, well, I guess next time is the web parade, but after that, my next regular floss tube, hopefully this will be a finish. Yoshi's project is the next one up. So this is part of the round robin with Yoshi, Andrew, and Sheldon. And so we're on our first rotation. So we've started ours and then we're working on the second one now. So this one I'd like to have done at the end of March so I can get it out, and so it's, well, I guess I have to have this one done. So hopefully I'm shooting for an end of March deadline. But I'll probably have a little more time than that. But anyway, I'm doing 1/4 of this. Here we are. This is on a 16 count. I have been working on here, so I extended this part up here and kind of filled in some of the holes that were there. This pattern is great. So this is stitching land. So yeah, the colors and everything, the way things blend together. Like sometimes I'll look at the key and find a color and I like, that can't be right, and I put it in and it's just like, wow, that's not what I was expecting, but it works so well. So it is full of surprises along the way. The bookcase from Galliana Cross Stitch Designs is up next. So this is part of the stitching connection. This is connection A. So everybody in the connection is doing the bookcase, and then so we're all doing the same thing, and then we're all putting our own aesthetics into it, and then we will rotate those, and we're each going to do one shelf of everybody else in the cohort, and in the end we'll have a stitching connection bookcase. So I am behind. I'm really behind. So what my goal is here is to get it to a point where I'm able to exchange it, even though it may not be as much as I had intended to do. So we wanted to do the entire bookcase first, but that's not going to happen. So wanted to make sure that just the shelves themselves are in place, and then the next stitcher can add those. This is on a 28 count cast shell linen in the color Portobello, and it is from Bestitch Me. I gave myself 3 stars on this. I wanted to get all 6 shelves done, but I wanted to make sure my counting was right first. And so I spent a lot of time really making sure that I had my counting done. So I put a lot of extra stitches in getting a foundation in place. But now that I have that done, I do have access points for all 6 shelves. So that's really just going to be a lot of simple stitching coming up. I'm more confident that I can actually get the 6 shelves done in the next rotation. And so I think that's a much more reasonable goal now that I have the foundation in place, and really both ends of the shelf are just ready to go. So there's the whole thing. It's going to take up this entire thing. So there's a lot more height on it too, but I don't have to go up quite the entire way. Okay, so here we are. So I had this extend out last time, and I was able to count to the end. But I did want to double check and reconfirm, so I did go through and put this little pattern in here just to make sure that it did line up, and it did, thank goodness. And so I was able to get this vertical portion. So I did have this vertical portion up quite a bit last time, but I had to rip it all out because I counted wrong. That's why I wanted to double check this time. So this isn't really a complete shelf. That's one of the 3 I want to have all 3 in, and those are still half stitches because I need to run that back. And then I'll have one up here. And then right here on the very top, that's where that last bookshelf goes. So those are the places I need to get to. And then I will be able to at least exchange it. Once I get that in place, I'm just going to start filling in as I would have from the bottom up. And go from there until we're ready to exchange. So I don't think I'm going to get a lot of the rest of it like filled in. Up until that point, there's still going to be a lot of stitching when it comes back to me to get it finished. But just glad that it'll be able to go on its journey and start getting books on its shelf. All right, Little Acorns is up next. So this is the Modern Folk Embroidery 2026 Stitch Along. I am not doing the Stitch Along. I'm just stitching along while everybody else is actually trying to keep pace. I do have a really ambitious goal of getting it done by the end of the year. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. I'm already significantly behind, so it's not likely that that'll happen. But I do keep it in my ambitious category, which means it's always available to me to stitch on, and it always has a fortnightly goal, but it should be at the bottom of that list. So everything else should happen first before I get to this one. So I gave myself 3, even though I didn't meet the goal. I felt like I made decent progress, and I give myself a little grace on my goals, or I'm grading on the curve this week because I realized that wasn't going to happen. I'm pleased, and I always, when I sit down and stitch on it, I always enjoy it. So that's the most important thing, right? So, oh, and I made it to the far left side, so I have the complete. I at least have the complete width done. And there it is. Now this one I will have a good chunk of fabric that I can be able to cut off the side and use for other projects. So this is a 36 count linen, fiber on a wham in the color of old gold, and the floss is color and cotton in the color marsh. So this is one, I love this piece. I love the sentiment of the piece. I love anything that has to do with oak trees and deer and squirrels and everything that is this piece I love anyway. But it is also my tribute piece to my first and second grade teacher, Mrs. Marsh, who has just been so impactful in my life. One thing I have learned about, like, when I am cross stitching, I can actually sit down and do something and actually think upon the thing I want to think about. So I really discovered that last year for Charlie's birthday. Happy birthday, Charlie. I know it's in May, but happy early birthday. When I was stitching on Extraordinary Breads for her. And then when I was doing Brothers and Sisters, I can really think about, what I want the world to be and the hope that should be in the world. So if I have a piece that lets me just get into the flow, I really get to think about what the broader meaning of it. And so I really appreciate that the act of cross stitching really gives me that place, which is something I really struggle to find. So it is definitely a blessing. So here's the end right here. I just had to fill in this little motif and then finish up the border here, and then do all the black work inside. So this I'm loving it. I don't know. For some reason, with any modern folk embroidery piece, it is just a zen place for me, and I don't know why that is. So I think whatever Jacob does in his designs, he just speaks to my brain. So I would like to have the bottom, the band finished this time. That was my goal this last time, but didn't quite get there, but I want to just finish it up this time, and then start moving into other things. I don't know if you're following the Sal on social media at all, but I know that a lot of people are just flying through this. It's so crazy, and some of the combinations out there, incredible. My gnome collection is up next. This is Decorating by Owl Forest Embroidery. This is a 36 count raw natural linen, and the flosses are Classic Colorworks and DMC. I was hoping to get up to 65% this time, and I made it to just shy of 60. So I was almost there. I gave myself an okay score, but I was loving it. This one is just so much fun to stitch. So here we are. Okay, so what did we get to last time? So all the orange over here is new, and I don't know if this is going to show up on camera or not, but you can see this just brown and the yellow down here. It's fun looking, but adding that orange really adds dimension. So I was kind of putting it off because I was like, it's a lot of thread and a lot of skipping and a lot of starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And so I put it off, but now that I did it, it's Oh, I love it. So all those little details, they do matter. Got a little ornament in here. Here's a little pine cone that I had to stitch twice, but he's finally got done. So it's really got a good chunk of this over here. And then I know I finished up this portion of this red and then started this section here. So that was pretty good progress. And I think I got his socks in. I think that was the other thing that I did. And I finished up a few little odds and ends over here because there were a few little confetti pieces that needed to be done. So the full extent of it is just going to go to about right here. So just more intricate borders. I think there's 2 or 3 different motifs. I know there's another flower down here, a different motif here. Yeah, there's so many great things in this piece. And I think there might be a little Christmas tree over here. And anyway, and there's the other gnome too. So yeah, there's that too. Super fun. So I'm hoping to have this done by March 19th. And so it'll be done during winter. And then I can start the spring version. In spring, it's really great. It's kites and origami, so it's really fun. The next one up is Nevermore by Layla Studios. This is on a 28 count linen from Dying for Cross Stitch. This is a mystery color. So it was a misdyed, and so I don't know, but I love it. The floss are all DMC. I went and picked a color palette that I wanted, and then I dyed the entire palette as a gray, and so to give them all the same undertones. So it is a hand-dyed DMC. It is also a restart. So I originally started this with Sheldon in October. We both had the pattern and wanted to start it, so started it back then. I was not liking my colors, so I went and started again. I did have an unofficial goal of trying to get all my stitches out this week. I got a good chunk out, but I didn't get all out. That being said, I was going to replace what I took out, and I was not going to be doing the unstitching. It's not fun, is it? I was hoping to replace it, and so I said 10 squares, which would have been comparable to what it was. I didn't do quite 10 squares, but I did a lot of block stitching, and I just sat down and got a lot done. I had fun, and I did put a lot of stitches in. I think I actually probably put in more than I originally had, even though it didn't take as much space. There's the new bit. There's the back side of what I took out. I took out a bunch out here, and I started, I guess I took out this row down here, but anyway, who cares what I took out, right? So here is the center of the piece is right here somewhere. And this is going to be the crow. Now this, I should have written down. So this is 3799 and 924, both dyed with the same gray tone. So it kind of puts them in that same family, and then blended together. So that's a lot going on right there, right? You know how ravens, like if you look at a raven, they have this like blue undertone, and sometimes if the light hits them right, they look like they have like a blue streak. So I wanted that to come through, and I think it really is. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but there's this beautiful blue undertone. You have to look at it and think, wow, is that actually the undertone, or is that just, you know, like dark gray? So anyway, I'm really pleased with what that is, and which is great because I was not happy with my colors before. So I think this is going to be so much fun now that, you know, kind of we're moving in that direction, and I got the colors right. So I did flip the fabric because the modeling on the other side was different, and I felt like the modeling on this side just was so much more robust, and so I decided to celebrate it. I think there's something about the dyeing technique about this one that I love. All right, this next one is from Stitching Connection. This is for Connection In. So this has been a huge hurdle that I got over. It was only counting, but it got in my head, and I was just like, I can't. It was such a struggle to get there. So again, I'm behind as always. I'm not going to get as much done. I want to do this one. I'll probably get more done in this one than I will the bookcase. But I need the frame done, so whenever it goes out and visits my friends, they'll actually know where to stitch because they have something to stitch from. So the frame is pretty important on this one. Just sitting down and counting 265, 64, something like that, stitches in a straight line, it doesn't do it for me. And so it has been a lot. And so I've been trying to slowly build off other things that I can use to count from. Anyway, I made one side, and once you have one side, you already have the other side, right? And so, and I'm probably about 75% done on the perpendicular side. And so as soon as that gets done, that's my goal to get this week, is to get that done, and then good sailing from there. And this is huge. So there it is. This is a 32 count Belfast linen in the color of cream. I'm doing DMCs. I originally thought I was going to do this on a 28, and I was thinking I wanted to do 36, but I was really new at 36 at the time, and I was like, ooh, that might be a little much. And I was like, do I want to do a lot of 36? And I think I probably had some crazy idea about doing it 40, and then I laughed and then moved back. So, but I was like, well, let me just do 36 or 32. That's what I settled on, and it's huge. So, oh wow, if you do 28, it's going to be even bigger, and this is just a massive piece. And it's one thing whenever you look at the dimensions and you do the calculations and you think, okay, that's how big it's going to be. And then when you actually see it, it's massive. Anyway, the things that go through my brain. My blue stitches are going to be coming out because I have all of those little stitches in. That's what I'm now using for counting. There are 65 of those little bottom little things right there, and that's what I use to count across. And then now I have this side over here. All right, let's see how to move this. Up here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a total of 9. So there's a foundation for at least 5, so I'll need 4 more up there. And this right here, I believe, is probably about 75 or 80% of the stitches just by me measuring it. But this is a lot of counting, and I do want to make sure that since I don't have a solid line that's where you can literally count 1, 2, 3, that way I have to count every stitch into it. So here's my running line up here that I'm actually using as a marker. I am hoping those are right, so we will see. But that's my goal for the next fortnight, is to get to that top up on this side. And then once I get that done, then it's just a matter of running all the rest of these stitches across, and then we'll be good. So that's getting to the top and then filling in the rest of the frame. And then all these little pieces will come in the weeks to follow. The next one up is a Dutch sampler. This is my 26 and 26, where I'm going to be stitching 26 letters in the year 26. I am doing 1 letter every fortnight, so we have just completed the 4th fortnight, and I'm all caught up, and that's relatively easy, right? But for this one, I feel like I am withholding because I can't get enough stitching on this, but I am really trying to be responsible and not get too far ahead and really distribute my stitching as evenly as possible to go along with the corresponding letters. So I will show you where I am. This was a slow stitching week on this one, which probably was good. I had very little stitching to do, but that's okay. Here is our little sampler. Again, if you're looking at the original picture, there were 3 alphabets, and I took all 3 out and I put a new one in just because I needed 26 letters. This time I added the little heart in the tree of life there, and I added this little bunny rabbit, and then these little green leaves down below. So I could have added more, and I probably could have justified it, but I decided to just save the rest of the tree and the E, and then this little flower for when the E came along. So I might even actually save some of this down here for whenever F comes, because I think it's going to be some smaller little things along the way. I'm experimenting a little bit. There is a kind of a zigzag motif here after the numbers, in between the center motif with a crown and two little cherub. So there's a little extra space between the letters and all the motifs below. So I'm going to try to figure out how to incorporate something just to tie it together, just so that space doesn't look jarring. But I need to get over, I'm going to guess, probably to H or I, I'm guessing, before I will really have enough context to actually figure that out. So that's the plan there. I just sit down and I enjoy it so much. So maybe I know because I'm only allowed to stitch a little bit, and so it's like if you only get one little piece of candy, it just feels like it tastes better, so you need more. But so much fun. I have a little surprise today. I have Saga, and you get to see it in its full form. Look at that. Okay, that is the whole fabric for Saga. And I had to measure again because it's deceptive, because I just expect it to be so big, but that's it. So this is Saga. This is my birthday start in 2025, so it is just shy of a year old. And I'm way behind, but I have been making really good progress lately, and I've been chipping away at the little deficit, and I hope to have this done in 4 years. So by, what would that be, 2029? That's my target to get this done. So I took it out of the scroll frame so I could let it breathe a little bit. I try to remove it a little bit, and then the whip parade's coming up, so I wanted to have that a little easier there too. So this week, what have I done? I did not eat any vegetables. I did get all my stitches done. I put about, I was supposed to do 1150 every 2 weeks. So that's 1100 will get me to my target, and then the 50 is to make up for anything if I ever have to miss. So it's just banking a little bit, and I'm already behind, so that just trying to get me caught up, and then eventually I'll be banking. I could not wait any longer. I had to do this. I'm calling him a dragon. I don't know. I used to know animals. I had little books when I was a kid, so I thought I knew my animals. I'm just going to say he's a dragon because he looks like he has like little spikes on his tail over here. He's not a lion. So he looks dragon-like to me. So that's what we're calling him. This tail is completely wrong, but I'm calling that a dodo. And I know that's probably not right either, but I don't know what else it is. So we're just going to call it a little dodo bird. When the story comes around, I may be completely off, but we'll see. A little mouse on top of the head. So here is the center of the carousel. I was kind of struggling with the colors, and I was like, ooh, those colors are not going to work. But instead, I was imagining him in front as the negative space. But now, in my brain, I imagine him being behind the carousel, and it's like transparent, and so you can see him through it. And then in my brain, like, oh, that makes so much more sense. And so the colors don't bother me anymore. So you're looking through this transparent carousel. It's a glass carousel, right? And so you get to see him through that, and then that way the colors aren't as jarring for me. So that's a little insight into my brain. I feel like this is going super fast, and I don't know if it was just because the hippo was massive and it was just a lot of stitching, but I feel like this one's going so much faster Same with the arch, even though I didn't do any this week. Um, maybe when I had my little tiff with Saga and we were just not getting along, maybe that lasted so much longer than I actually thought. Or maybe, I don't know. But I feel like I want to stitch on this all the time. So I whatever that glitch was where I was like, we're not talking, it's gone. And I want so much to spend so much more time with this. So it is just flying by. So there we are. I think looking at the red, I'm really pleased with the colors. I think they are working well. This is not, it's not going to be as red as I imagined in my head, because a lot of these animals in here are going to be pulling in some of that green. So I think that's going to be good. There's still, going to be a good chunk of the canopy, the awning of the carousel. So there's still going to be quite a bit more red, but I think the balance is going to be okay. Yeah, so really, really loving this piece. And look how tiny it's going to be. Oh my goodness. Here's the center. This is the center. So the thing goes over to here. That's going to be, that's crazy. All right, moving into plans. So this next fortnight, we are going to enter March. So March is going to be Modern Folk March. So I am borrowing this idea from Kat over at Kat and Lily in her Patreon. She does themed months, which are super fun. People get so excited and just participate in all stitch-alongs and all these theme months, and it is so much fun to just watch everybody jump on board with these themes. Me and Modern Folk, so of course I'm going to do it. So I have rearranged my entire schedule. All my rotations are like swapping places and moving around. So March is going to be really inundated with Modern Folk embroidery, but is not completely. So for the next fortnight, I have kind of a lot of interesting things going on and jumping in and everything. So there's a lot of oddities, I feel like, this time. Jumping into my goals for the next fortnight, for my focus piece is Wonderful World, and I do want to get that one finished. So in my brain, I want to be rather aggressive with it early on, and I would like to get it done as closely as possible to the first of the month, and then I would like to switch my focus to a Modern Folk embroidery piece for the month of March. I don't know what that would be, but I can't. I don't want to replace the focus until I finish the one that I should be focused on now. So that's coming up, is the finish of that. Fingers crossed. Moving on to priority pieces for Bookcase, I want to get all the shelves in. And so I think that's reasonable. I have all my little grounding points in all the directions, so it's just a matter of just doing straight line stitching back and forth. So that should be relatively easy. Very little counting, so I should be able to get that done. For embroidery ribbons, this is also a Modern Folk embroidery piece, but it would get a lot of work, or should get a lot of work anyway, even though sometimes I don't. But so I want to get the entire frame done, and then that will set me up to finish all of the little tiny little threads that are running across that are separating the ribbons. And so I don't need to get them all the way across. I would like to. I'm talking long-term plans. Never mind. I just want to get the frame done in the next 2 weeks. There's a lot of little steps that come after that to make sure that it's would be in a place that I want it to be before it gets sent out. But that's all coming. But I think I should be able to get the frame done. And then for Woodland Lake, I am hoping for a March finish on this. So by the end of March, I want to get to 8.16% done the stitches. So that's really not that challenging. It's like 50 stitches a day, so it's not that hard for me to get there. It's just being able to sit down and block in time. And it's tiny stitching, so and I'm trying to be very, very meticulous when I'm doing it. Moving on to my special pieces. So special pieces are anything that I just decide is special, and then they are just at the top of the pile. So first one up is Saga. Saga just is Saga, and so it stays in there. It gets attention every week, where if some of them only get once during the fortnight, this one gets it every weekend. It gets attention, and shooting for 1,150 stitches. Again, that is just to keep me on track for a finish in March of 2029. Decorating is my seasonal stitch, meaning it aligns with the natural seasons, and so I want to have winter done before I start the spring one. I'm going to start the spring one regardless, but I want to have the winter one out of the way, and I don't want to carry it into next December. I guess it would start in December. I don't want to carry it that far. So even if I do have to do a little bit of catch up along the way, I might do that. So we'll see. But I hope to have it done. And then for the Dutch sampler, I just need the letter E and then whatever the corresponding stuff is down below. So I do think that it is going to be at least the right-hand side of the Tree of Life. And I don't know what else is going to come after that. I might save some of that other stuff for F, because the Tree of Life will flow into F, and then it's going to have... Anyway, I'm going to try to find an even distribution for the two. Everyone knows that my plants are completely fluid, so we'll see what they are next week. But the little cute octopus was supposed to be finished in January, and then it was supposed to be finished in February, and I was supposed to do one small a month, and I already have too much. So I would like to get, I don't know. There's not a lot of stitches, but it's a lot of mental energy. So I did say that I was trying to get 2 legs, and then I want to set a finish. And I don't know. So I'm going to try to put at least 2 legs in. And then I keep calling them legs. I should call them tentacles. That's, they're more than legs. But anyway, that's at least 2. That's a good start, because I know that I'm not going to reach all my goals anyway. So we're just going to say 2 legs. That's it. We're doing 2 tentacles. If I say legs, and then I'm being a lawyer and trying to talk myself out of accomplishing goals. Full coverage. I did not get to my full coverage at all last month. This past 2 weeks, I just was not able to sit down and pull them out. I think the volume of floss that you have to have around you and accumulated, I think that is kind of intimidating. So I think that's probably why when I had to choose, they just did not come to the top. But full coverage sailing ship is coming back up again. So this is my oldest whip, and so I am trying to. It would normally get 280 stitches since it comes out every 28 days. But I double that for this one because I want to make significantly more progress on it. And at some point, this one might actually get into the focus category to get it done. But I need to figure out how to get in a better routine when it comes to full coverage. In my brain, they just seem like it's more of an effort to sit down and do them, where everything else feels like I could just pick them up. A full coverage just mentally just seems a little more challenging, and I'm trying to think of a rationale why it is. It really isn't, right? But I need to figure out how to get over that little hurdle in my brain. Okay, the next ones up are my rotation pieces. So like I said, I have rearranged a little bit of my rotation, so things are swapping around. So it means that some things might come up at different points a little closer than what they normally would, or a little farther apart because of Modern Folk March. So I did leave Flea Market Flowers in the rotation because it did pop up on the 28th of February, so it just made it in the window, and I love doing this piece. So I'm going to pull that out this week and make sure that I get some stitches in it before March comes around, and I'm going to try to put in 20 threads. The next 2 motifs, no matter which direction I go on it, are significant motifs. So the 2 things I have to choose from are very big. So I was trying to be realistic and saying I'm not going to try to get a full motif done this time. So I'm just going to shoot for 20 threads, which is comparable to getting in a 600 stitches. I guess it's good to probably tell you now that I have kind of stretched out my calendar a little bit. I have extended the time between my rotations. So I was doing every 45 days, one would come up back into the rotation, and I was having too much to do in the time that I had. So within 2 weeks, I was having so many projects that I felt like I needed to get done. So I had too many available to me. And so I kind of stretched out a little bit. So I will have 1 to 2 less every rotation now because they're all at 60 days. So they're on a 60-day repeat. And that gives me, they come up less often, but I still need to get more stitches in. And I think I like this approach better. So we'll see how well it works. I think this is going to be the first time that I'm completely doing that. But it does sound like I have to get more in this week, but I will have fewer on the rotation. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense, but the math works, right? So anyway, so flea market flowers. I'm only going to put in the equivalent of 600 stitches. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, which is not going to be a full motif. I have a modern folk embroidery start. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I was not going to start it. I didn't want to start anything new. I already have a lot on my plate. Until you hear plans, right? But I just, like, you know what? I'm not waiting. I'm just going to start it because it's constantly in my brain. And so I'm going to do 300 stitches and 300 stitches. I am still not exactly sure how it's all going to work out, but I'm going to start it. And so I don't have all the information for you right now. I do have the fabric I'm going to use. It is a coppery brown fabric. I got this at the Creative Reuse Center. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. It is a linen, and it is. Oh, I did the count already. I didn't write down the count. I did the math when I actually had the count sitting in front of me, and so it'll work for what I want to do. But I still have a lot of stuff to do to figure out how it's going to work. But it is modern folk embroidery. That's all I can tell you. A non-modern folk embroidery piece that did come up in the rotation, and I kept it for a very specific reason. Melanie at Uplift Stitches is having a birthday on March 4th, and so she is doing a birthday sal, and I probably butchered the pronunciation on that. But to celebrate her birthday, we're going to stitch birds. And so I am going to select a bird on Extraordinary Birds, and I am going to complete it. I'm not doing the back stitch. I'm just going to do the stitching. No back stitch. Right now I'm not in the mood to back stitch. We'll be stitching that on March 4th to celebrate Melanie. So happy birthday, Melanie. Also on March 4th is Sheldon's birthday. And so Sheldon and I are swapping birthday starts, meaning we're going to start each other's birthday starts, even though we're starting our own birthday starts. And so last time I have a big mouth, and I was just talking, and I said what it was and I wasn't supposed to say because he hadn't said yet. And but now I can tell you, we are doing House of Hearts by Modern Folk Embroidery. So again, Modern Folk Embroidery, so that makes it great. It fits right into the month. And what I'm going to be doing with that, I am really obsessed with tiny stitches lately. I don't want to start anything on anything smaller than 36. I just feel that if it's tiny, I just want to do little tiny things. So I have a lot of 28 and 32 fabric, and then I sit there and look at it, I'm like, well, do I really want it that big? And then so anyway, I will show you what I'm doing. Okay, so let's let's start with floss. Sheldon loves maroon, and I've been wanting to do a red sampler, but I didn't know if I wanted to do a red sampler. And apparently I'm really lazy because I'm like merging ideas together. And I'm like, oh, I can do two things, or I can do one thing and do them together. So anyway, so I am doing this red. So this is called Golden Gate, and it's by Color and Cotton. And then right now I have it on a 26 linen. I don't know what kind of linen this is, and the only reason I know it's 26 is because I had to go count the stitches. Okay, so I did a little bit of testing here, and I'm just trying to look at it every day or so and just see how much I like it. And right now I think I'm in the mood where I like it. So it's going to be tiny. And you know, if you're doing 1/1, you have to be careful about your thread slipping. And I've been trying to, you know, practice that to make sure that I'm keeping that from happening. So right now I am leaning towards this. I did order some neutrals in a 40 count that I might be doing as well. But anyway, I think that works pretty well. I don't know. I'm kind of happy with it. I love this fabric. My only concern is that I think it may not be sturdy enough to do over 1. And I think this one might lend itself to over 2, but then I'm thinking that's really, really thick, really big squares or X's. So I don't know. There's a good chance I'll probably lean this way. I think I'm close to a yes, but we'll see. Okay, so the last one up in the rotation is Brothers and Sisters. Again, this is Modern Folk Embroidery. So my goal on this is to get 600 stitches. This one is in pattern keeper, so I can actually count the stitches. I really need to reevaluate. It's been a while since I've sat down and stitched this one. So I really need to reevaluate some of my rearranging. And I hope I took really good notes, because there's going to be a lot of moving parts, and I just need to make sure they actually get to where they're supposed to be. And then I hope I didn't put myself in some crazy position where I was thinking something and then I didn't write it down, or I didn't stitch it or whatever, and then I come back later and have no idea what I did. So I do know what flosses I was using, and I think I had, worst case scenario, I can go watch one of my old videos, because I know I did talk about my colors at some point. I don't know why I remember that, but I know I did that. So anyway, that's coming up. So Brothers and Sisters may be a contender to become my focus piece if I finish train. If I finish Wonderful World. So, and it moved, then I have an open focused part. So Brothers and Sisters may become that for the month of March. All right, so for my ambitious pieces, these are ones that I would like to be moving a little quicker than they would get if they were just in the general rotation. So I do have my ABC tapestry, which I had this brilliant idea that I was going to get so much done on it, and it just hasn't happened yet. But here's my goal that has been consistent for a while now. I just want to complete the heart section, and I am so close. I know it's not Modern Folk Embroidery, but I may try to just get this one done. And I want to start the Z section, just to stitch, just to say I'm doing it. Maybe that'll be a new start and, you know, kind of push me into there. Anyway, so that one's going to stick around in my ambitious category until I make a good bit of progress, and then I might let it drop off for a while. But right now, that is high on my list of the ones that I want to make significant progress on, but really doesn't have an end goal. And then Little Acorns. This is one, you know, I knew I wasn't going to be keeping up with the Sal. I already knew that it was going to be overstitched. So I still want to keep it moving. I don't want it lingering around too much after the 2027 Modern Folk Embroidery Sal is out. But anyway, I want it to move a little faster than it would in the rotation. The other thing, since it is Modern Folk March, if I do decide to pull out some of the other Modern Folk embroidery pieces that I have, there's a couple more already going. I will pull those out early and put them in this category if I get enough stuff done on the other ones. All right, so my least of my priorities when it comes to what I have in my rotation are my Halloween and Christmas. So for this Halloween rotation, I have Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, and this fortnight overlaps 2 months, so I can work on a little bit in February. So I did set a February goal of just 1 square. This is just a lot of block stitching, so I think that's probably a good way for me to just get a chunk done, and then I can set it aside until next February. And then I want to get 5 squares done in for the March portion. And so I think that'll give me a good head start on that. Again, when I say a square, I am talking about a 10 by 10 area of the grid. And then I believe there are 85, 83. I don't know, somewhere in there, 85, 83 in there, equivalent of squares. So if I do 5 then in this month, then it'll take me a long time to finish this. Yeah, so that it would take me forever to finish it. 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, I don't know. By the way, that's kind of where I'm starting out now. I have this vision that someday I'm actually going to like your first year cross stitch is just like training, and then after that you like pick up speed. That's my fantasy, but it's not going to happen. I know I'm not going to get any faster, but I'd like to tell myself I will. And then for Christmas, I because the 25th falls in this cycle, I can pull out 1 Christmas piece. So I only have 1 going. The rest are all done. I take that back. I have 1 regular piece and then 1 that's full coverage, but the full coverage is in the full coverage rotation. But I will pull out Christmas Tree Farm, or I may pull out Christmas Tree Farm. You know how things go. And then I'm going to do 2 trees. Last time I said I was going to pull it out and I was going to stitch 3 trees. I didn't touch it at all. So we're going to hopefully pull it out, and we're just going to be more realistic about what the goal looks like. So that is all of the regular stitching plans. I'm going to go in chronological order for the new starts in March. I already mentioned the one that I don't have enough information to actually share too much about yet, but I'm excited that you will see it in the next one. So that's starting on March 1st. Just for Modern Folk, and I have some ideas about like how it's going to come out. I was thinking, you know how things merge. There's a lot of birthdays in March, and so maybe this should be the piece that I pull out when I'm celebrating other people's birthdays. But then I was thinking, well, it doesn't have a lot of motifs, so I may not always be on theme. I know I can't start everything for somebody's birthday, so I thought maybe this would be fun to just do a birthday piece that is when I'm celebrating with others. I don't know. It sounds like a fun idea to me, but then I won't always be on theme. I don't know. So if you think it's a good idea, let me know. But otherwise, I'm gonna start it anyway. But maybe it will be 4 birthdays. It could be fun, but it won't be around that long. I don't know. So I'm just rambling now. So that's starting March 1st. March 1st. So March 4th is Sheldon's birthday. So we are going to be doing House of Hearts. So if you want to stitch along for our birthdays, we're going to be using the March birthdays Sal. And so hashtag March birthdays Sal. And if you are celebrating a March birthday, I know there are several other Flosstubers out there who are. So I think, I'm going to get the days mixed up, but 2 of my absolute favorite Flosstubers are the day before me and the day after me. So that's pretty cool. And I'm in good company. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Um, so if you want, it's just for fun. So, and I know asking people to do a new start is a lot. So if you want to do a start along, we'd be really excited if you did Modern Folk Embroidery or Owl Forest Embroidery, which is what I'm going to be doing. Or you can do anything that you want, and just whatever you want to do. That's so start along, stitch along, or just sit down and pick a whatever, right? But do go look at the hashtag and just see what everybody's doing. It's going to be fun. So I'm excited about it. For my birthday, I'm going to be stitching the time sampler from Owl Forest Embroidery. So again, Sheldon's going to be stitching this too, and he's going to be doing his own interpretation of it. So definitely go check him out and watch, see what he's doing on both of these pieces. Did not get the Owl Forest floss, but I did get color and cotton, and I tried to do some matching. So I think most of these, I'm really excited to see where they go. I love the palette. I think it's super fun. There's a white in there. I think this is going to be really, really fun. I'm going to be making a few minor changes. Like this color here is a bluish color. I can't remember what to call it. It's called bluegill. I was thinking that, but I forgot. Anyway, so that is not even anywhere near any of the colors in there. But I was looking at this picture, and I keep on getting called like into this copper patina sort of realm. So I think I might experiment with that. The other thing is the green. I'm actually using Marsh, which is the same one that I'm using for little Acorns. This has a lot of green undertones. It reads as brown, but I think I might use it for the green. So that's kind of where I'm going. This is a 20 count. I guess it would be an Ada. I think I might do it. It'll give me the little tiny stitches that I want. But I don't know. I'm thinking I just might want the simplicity of just doing over one, and so this is an option for me. Again, I do have some 40 counts coming, so either way it's going to be the same size. It's just a matter of whether I want to do one or over two. But I do have some other fabrics coming, and so I might do a floss toss on all of them and just see which one actually I like the best. But anyway, so this is kind of where I'm leaning now, but we'll see what comes down the road. All right, and the last news start, I think, for March is the Leap into Spring. So hashtag Leap into Spring. So Michael at Uplift Stitches and I are decided we're going to stitch frogs. So if you would like to stitch along with us on that, it will be started on March 20th, which is the first day of spring. So I am doing mushrooms and toadstools. Let me rephrase that. I am going to be borrowing a portion from mushrooms and toadstools from Owl Forest Embroidery. So I'm just going to be doing this little frog sitting on a toadstool. And this is a very, very large piece, but I'm just going to pull that one little motif out and just focus on that. It's about 2,000 stitches, so it's not a lot. I had a couple other in mind that were just way too big, and I was like, I just need to be somewhat responsible with all my new starts. So this little guy is cute. Loving it to death. I think he's going to make a really fun little animal to go into my little decor. I thought maybe I can make him Christmassy to go with all my Christmas animals, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I haven't picked anything out for him yet, but this is what I'm going to be doing. But we'll see how that goes. If you're interested in stitching mushrooms and toadstools, this pattern is currently available free of charge on the Owl Forest Embroidery website. So definitely go check that out. They give away so many free patterns over there, and they're not just little tiny, um, you know, tiny stitches. They're significant patterns. So if you're looking for something, go check them out. And again, if you don't want to stitch a frog, if you wanted to stitch some other amphibian, toads or newts or salamanders, or anything else that jumps, leaps into spring, grasshoppers, bunny rabbits, we're just having fun, right? That is hashtag leap into spring. Definitely follow Michael and I along on that, and I'm sure there's going to be so many little frogs out there, and frogs and friends. Thank you so much for stopping by and visiting with me today. I need a little boost, and every time I come and talk to you, I always feel so much better when I get to have these little chats. So thank you for sharing your time and giving me the space. I appreciate it so much. I will be back in just a few short days with my wood parade, so I will see you very soon. But until then, go out and share your joy and your love with all the world, because it needs it right now. And I know that this community has so much to give. So until then, happy stitching.